Hi everyone, I hope all is well. This week's Parsha is Parshat Vayachi. And in this week's Parsha, if you take a look at it, it's a lot about Yaakov's life and his children's lives and lineage and blessings, and really it's all focused around life. So much so that if you look at the death of Yaakov doesn't say explicitly that Yaakov died. In fact, Rashi even quotes a Gemara in Tanit that says that Yaakov didn't die. It says Yaakov lo meit. It just says that he was Vayasef el amav. He was collected into his nation, into his family. That's all it says about Yaakov's death. So it's seemingly very puzzling about the details surrounding Yaakov's death in particular. So there's a concept in Judaism called Sar Mita, and it's a whole thing to get into on itself, but it literally translates to the pain of death. Now, we're not going to really talk about that in detail, but just to give a brief overview, right? If you think about it, there are two aspects to every person, the body and the soul. So, at the time of when someone passes, the body and the soul, they separate. The body goes to the ground and the soul goes up to Shemaim, to heaven, right? And at that point, there's this thing called Sarmita, the pain of death. And this thing, supposedly, what happens is if someone's really connected to the physical and not so much the spiritual, the soul is like mended tightly to the body. So in order to separate it at the time of death, it's painful, I guess. It's questionable whether tsar really translates to pain, maybe something else, but it doesn't seem to be good, whatever it is. And then vice versa. You could be so spiritual and not be connected to the physical at all, and then you have to tear the body and the soul again apart there, and you have the same pain. So when it says Yaakov Avinu Lomei, when it says Yaakov never died, I heard this from my Rabbi Moshe Peleach, that when it says Yaakov Avinu never died, it was talking about that Yaakov had such a balance between his body and his soul that when it was time for him to pass, it went so easily that he never felt this quote-unquote pain. He just did it so perfectly. So Yaakov Avinu is known for his... it begs the question, because Yaakov Avinu was a very, very physical guy. He had a lot of items, he had a big family, animals, right? So it begs the question on how he was able to balance it so well. So that's exactly what he was known for. He was known for this tiferet, for this splendor balance between the physical and the spiritual. So with that, I give everyone a bracha that it's a good reminder to have every so often, that we all should be like Yaakov Avinu, as hard as we could try to get there, to really establish a healthy balance between the spiritual and the physical, but not leaning too hard toward one side. And with that, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.